I am not happy, I am not sad, I am just missing someone in my life, my father, the man who taught me strength without shouting, the man who stood tall, for even when he was weak inside, he may be gone from my sight, but he has never left my heart. Every day I carry his words, his discipline, his love, and lessons. When life hits hard, I remember he taught, stand firm, even when you feel like a falling. I still hear his voice in my silence, I still feel his care. My decisions, he was not just a father, he was my backbone, my hero. This world feels colder without him, but I keep going, not because it's easy, but because he would want me to. Everyone, one missing, they're dead, you are not alone, cry. If you need to, remember him with strength, because great men cannot be forgotten, they live forever in the heart. When we think of a father, we often imagine a figure both fragile and unshakable at the same time. A man who wakes up each day with his own silent battles, with doubts that whisper in the quiet corners of his mind, yet he stands up anyway. He carries the burden of the world on his shoulders, and though his back aches beneath its weight, he never lets his children see him stumble. That is the paradox of a father. He is human, vulnerable, and uncertain, and yet to his children he appears as a mountain, firm and immovable, a symbol of strength that never bends. A father is not just a man who brings life into the world. He is the one who worries endlessly when the child coughs at night, who wonders silently how he will afford tomorrow, who struggles but hides the struggle so that his children may sleep peacefully. And when such a man is gone, it is not merely the absence of a person that we feel, it is the silence of a presence that shaped us. I find myself caught in a strange state of being. I am not happy, I am not sad. I am simply missing someone, my father, the man who taught me strength without ever raising his voice, the man who stood tall even when storms raged within him, the man who gave without asking for return. He may be gone from my sight, but he has never left my heart. Every day I walk with his words, his discipline, his quiet love, and his lessons. When life strikes hard, when the weight of the world tempts me to crumble, I remember him telling me, not with shouting, but with living, to stand firm even when you feel you are falling. It is in the quiet moments that he returns to me. In silence I still hear his voice. In my decisions I still feel his care guiding me. He was not just a father, he was my backbone, my shield, my hero. The world feels colder without him, as though a light that once made everything warmer has dimmed. And yet I keep going. Not because it is easy, but because I know that is what he would want. Fathers spend their lives making sure their children can walk further than they themselves could. And so the greatest way to honor him is not to collapse in his absence, but to continue, to move forward with the courage he instilled in me. And to everyone who is missing their father tonight, let me tell you this, you are not alone. You are not the only one who has felt this emptiness, who has wanted to cry without words, and it is all right to cry. It is all right to remember him and let the tears fall, but when you cry, let it be with strength. Remember him not just with sorrow, but with gratitude, because great men cannot be forgotten. They leave a mark that no time can erase. They live forever, not in the ground, but in the hearts that they shaped, in the lessons they left, in the love they poured out. A father never truly dies, because the essence of him is woven into the soul of his children. And as long as you carry him in your heart, as long as you live by what he stood for, he is still here. A father is not just a man, he is a mystery wrapped in quiet sacrifice. To the outside world, he may appear ordinary, just another face in the crowd, just another worker among millions. But to his children, he becomes the invisible foundation upon which their lives rest. He is the one who stays awake when the house sleeps, his mind racing with worries about tomorrow. He asks himself silently, will my children have enough? Will they grow stronger than me? Will they be safe in this unpredictable world? These questions haunt him, not because he doubts his children, but because his love for them is so vast that he cannot help but think of every possible storm they might face. And yet, he never shows this storm to his children. When he walks through the door after a long day, carrying the weight of his struggles, he puts on a gentle face. He smiles when he wants to collapse. He listens when he wants silence. He stands tall when inside he is weary. This is the quiet heroism of a father. He teaches strength not by shouting, not by forcing, but by example. You watch him rise each day, face his challenges, and still find a way to give you the best of him. He never boasts of his endurance, never demands recognition. Instead, he simply keeps moving forward, showing you that true strength is not in loud declarations, but in silent persistence. There are times you remember him working with his hands, maybe late into the night, or waking up before the sun so you could have what you needed. You remember how he worried if you were warm enough, if you had eaten, if you were happy. His love was never always spoken in words. Often it was hidden in actions. Food on the table, a roof over your head, discipline to guide your path. And though he may not have always said, "I love you," every day, his every act whispered it in ways far louder than words ever could. The strength of a father is a paradox. He may not always appear invincible, but he never lets you see the cracks in his armor. When his body is tired, he still pushes forward. When his heart is heavy, he still carries yours. That is the kind of strength that cannot be measured in muscles or wealth. It is the strength of love, of responsibility, of devotion. He teaches you without lectures that being strong is not about never falling. It is about rising again and again, no matter how heavy life becomes. Looking back, you begin to realize that every lesson you carry was born in his silent sacrifices. His discipline wasn't just rules. It was his way of shaping you into someone who could survive in a harsh world. His patience wasn't weakness. It was the wisdom of a man who knew that life would teach you, but he wanted to prepare you first. His presence wasn't just a comfort. It was a shield that guarded you even when you didn't know you needed protecting. So when you think of him now, you don't just remember a man, you remember a force. The quiet strength that made your childhood safe, the unspoken love that carried you through your mistakes, the sacrifices you never saw but now understand. This is the essence of a father, the most ordinary man who through his love and struggles becomes extraordinary in the lives of his children. When a father is no longer with us, it feels as though a part of the world has shifted, as if something we relied on without even realizing it has quietly disappeared. And yet, if you look closely, you begin to see that he never truly leaves. His presence lingers in unexpected places, in the words that come to your lips when you're advising someone, in the way you straighten your back when challenges arise, in the decisions you make guided by a voice you still hear within. Though his physical form may be absent, the bond between father and child is not something that time or death can erase. It is stitched deep into the fabric of your being, woven into your instincts, your values, and even your very way of facing the world. Each memory becomes more than just a recollection. It becomes a living part of who you are. You remember his discipline, not as something restrictive, but as the steady hand that carved out the path you now walk. You recall his laughter, his silences, his gestures, and they return to you when you least expect them. Sometimes it comes like a whisper in the middle of your doubt, as if he is still there telling you, stand firm, even when you feel like falling. And sometimes it is in the form of comfort when you feel weary, as though his care still wraps around you like a blanket on a cold night. These are not illusions. They are the echoes of a love so deep that it transcends the boundaries of time. And so, when life strikes hard, when the days feel overwhelming and the nights seem long, it is his lessons that rise up within you like a shield. The discipline he taught, the resilience he embodied, and the love he gave continue to live inside you. They are not gone because he is not here. They have become a part of your very identity. Every time you face difficulty and refuse to break, you are carrying his spirit forward. Every time you choose integrity when it would be easier to compromise, you are honoring his example. In this way, a father does not die. He multiplies himself through the lives he touched, especially through the children he raised. It is strange how grief works. At first, it feels like a wound that may never heal. The absence cuts deep, and the silence feels unbearable. But with time, you realize that grief slowly transforms. It becomes less about pain and more about presence. You stop thinking only about what you've lost and begin to recognize what remains. The tears you shed are not just sadness, they are love in motion. They remind you that his existence was too meaningful to ever be forgotten. The ache in your chest is not emptiness, it is the space where he continues to live. And when you meet others who have also lost their fathers, you begin to see a shared truth, that this bond is universal. Many carry the same weight, the same longing, the same quiet conversations with someone who is no longer physically there. And yet, all of them also carry a strength that comes from knowing their fathers shaped them in ways that can never be undone. It is not about holding on to the sorrow. It is about carrying forward the love, the wisdom, and the strength he left behind. So though he may be gone from your sight, he has never left your heart. In fact, he is more alive in you than he ever was before, because now his voice is inseparable from your own. You are his legacy, his continuation, his living presence in a world that still needs his strength. Grief has a way of feeling like a storm. It comes suddenly, sometimes quietly, sometimes with overwhelming force, and it threatens to knock you down. Losing a father is one of those storms that never really passes completely. Instead, it changes shape, appearing and disappearing, leaving you with both an ache and a strange kind of strength. When the memory of your father rises, it may bring tears, but those tears are not weakness. They are love finding its way out. To cry for him is to honor him because it means he mattered deeply. Only those who loved greatly feel the emptiness so strongly. But grief, when carried rightly, does not paralyze, it transforms. A father's memory is not meant to chain you to sorrow, but to remind you of the greatness that shaped you. Each tear that falls is a reminder that you were given something extraordinary. A man who cared, who sacrificed, who lived not for himself alone, but for his children. To remember him is not to dwell in sadness. It is to keep alive the lessons, the discipline, and the love he left behind. His presence continues to be felt not only in your heart, but in the very way you live your life. There are days when you will feel weak, when the world feels colder without him, when you wish he could be here to guide you once more. And in those moments, you might hear his voice in the silence, urging you to stand firm, to keep going, to not collapse under the weight of life. That is how his love continues to live. It comes as courage when you are about to give up, as wisdom when you are about to make a choice, as comfort when the nights feel too long. His love is not gone. It has simply changed its form, becoming the invisible strength that carries you forward. The beauty of remembering a father lies in the way it strengthens rather than weakens you. The very pain of missing him becomes a source of resilience. You find yourself saying, "I will endure, not because it is easy, but because that is what he would want of me." And in that endurance, you begin to see that his legacy lives not in grand monuments or in worldly success, but in the quiet courage he planted in you. Every time you push forward despite hardship, you are living proof of his strength. And you are not alone in this. Many people walk through life missing their fathers, carrying that same quiet ache. But it is in this shared experience that we find comfort. To all who miss their fathers, remember that crying does not erase strength, it complements it. Tears cleanse, they soften, they allow love to flow. But after the tears, rise with the memory of the man who built you, who guided you, who gave his all so you could stand. To cry is to love, but to stand is to honor. Great men cannot be forgotten. They live forever in the choices their children make, in the values they pass down, in the strength they quietly instilled. A father becomes eternal not because he never left, but because he left behind so much of himself within you. As long as you walk with his lessons, as long as you live with his love echoing through your heart, he is never truly gone. He lives on, not as a memory that fades, but as a living presence that carries you through every season of your life. A father is never truly gone. Though his body may leave this world, his spirit remains etched into the lives he touched, especially in the hearts of his children. His struggles, his sacrifices, his love, and his quiet strength become part of who we are, shaping the way we stand, the way we endure, and the way we love others. To miss him is not to be broken. It is to be reminded of how deeply he mattered. Grief may bring tears, but those tears are not weakness. They are proof of love, proof of the greatness of the man who gave so much of himself. And when we rise after crying, when we continue to move forward despite the ache, we are living his legacy. Great men do not vanish. They live on in every act of courage, in every choice rooted in integrity, in every step we take when life feels heavy. So to all who miss their fathers, know this: you are not alone. Carry him with strength, not only in sorrow but in gratitude. Remember him, honor him, live the lessons he left behind, because in doing so you keep him alive, not as a memory of the past, but as a living presence guiding you still. Fathers may leave our sight, but they never leave our hearts, and that is where they remain forever,